Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Tsunami hits Japan after a series of earthquakes, knocks out power and disrupts flight and rail services. South Korea, North Korea and Russia issue tsunami warnings. Israel to withdraw some troops from Gaza in order to focus on targeted operations as it prepares for a prolonged conflict against Hamas. Taiwan's president says ties with China must be decided by the will of the people and that peace must be based on dignity. India launches a satellite for research on X-ray emissions from black holes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanks the country's scientists for a good start to 2024. And the world welcomes the new year with fireworks. DD India wishes all of you a happy and prosperous 2024. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 hit north-central Japan on Monday. Another 5.7 magnitude earthquake hit the region of Ishikawa. Japan's Met Agency issued a tsunami warning along the western coastal regions of Ishikawa, Niigata and Toyama. No irregularity was found at any nuclear power plant after the quake. More than 36,000 houses are experiencing a power outage. Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio called on people to evacuate the affected regions. He instructed government officials to give clear guidance on earthquake and tsunami. The country's Chief Secretary Hayashi Yoshimasa said that the extent of damage is being checked. He asked people to be prepared for further quakes. A tsunami alert was issued in South Korea too. Its Met Agency said that a tsunami of 0.3 meter may reach the eastern coast of the country. And my colleague Chris Gilbert joins us from Tokyo for more on this developing story. Chris, what's the latest information you can share with our viewers on the tsunami and series of earthquakes that have hit Japan?
The latest information is that the major tsunami warning that's been in place since the earthquake hit some hours ago has now been downgraded to a regular tsunami warning, if there is such a thing as a regular tsunami warning. But that means that the waves that have been encountered along the coastline, the western coastline of that area, have been about between 50 centimeters to a meter. Now the danger is not over yet. The evacuation warnings are still in place, but that is not the only peril here. The city of Wajima, which was near the epicenter, is a city of about 28,000 people. An enormous fire has broken out in the middle of that city, and it seems to be spreading very rapidly. Now, the fire services cannot immediately attend. The roads are all damaged and broken. The major highways are damaged and broken. It is very hard for emergency services to find and help people. At least 6 houses have been reported as officially collapsed. There may be many more. We do know that the hospitals are overflowing with people. There have been no reported fatalities yet, and the official casualty numbers are not out yet. But we do know that the hospitals are taking in a lot of people while operating on backup generators. And I just messaged a friend who lives out in that area just to check if they're okay, and they messaged back, I thought that was it. So that is the significance in that even though it was very calm and quiet here in Tokyo, it has been a very frightful evening for the people of Ishikawa.
Indeed, Chris, and also a report suggests that Japan's Met Agency has or had issued tsunami warnings for the areas of Ishikawa, Niigata and Toyama. Are nuclear power plants located in any of those areas? I ask you this because it's the first, or was the first, major tsunami warning since the March 2011 earthquake and tsunami that struck Japan.
It is the first major one. There had been other tsunami risks due to a number of earthquakes in the years intervening. The 33 nuclear power plants are dotted around Japan's coastline, and so there are, nuclear reactors in their area, and that was why the government was very quick to come out and say, look, there is no danger to these nuclear reactors at the moment. However, of course, when the Daiichi nuclear power plant melted down in 2011 in Fukushima, the actual events of that situation did not come out for some days afterwards. But the government for now is saying that the nuclear power plant situation along that coastline is regular, is normal, and there are no concerns at the moment, at least according to the government.
Chris, thank you. That was my colleague Chris Gilbert reporting from Tokyo. And after a powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit central Japan, followed by tsunami warnings, India's embassy in that country set up an emergency control room and shared information about emergency numbers and email IDs, which are being flashed on your screen as we speak. Now, Indian officials are in regular touch with Japanese government officials and have requested Indian nationals living in Japan to follow the instructions issued by local authorities. In more news from the Indo-Pacific region, after China's leader Xi Jinping vowed reunification with Taiwan in his year-end address, Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen said on Monday that the island's relations with China must be decided by the will of the people and that peace must be based on dignity. Asked about Xi's speech, President Tsai said that the most important principle on what course to follow on relations with China was democracy. Now, China has been ramping up military pressure to assert its sovereignty over Taiwan, which on 13th January holds the presidential and parliamentary elections.
What
is the future of cross-strait relations? I think it should be consistent with the principles of democracy. This is taking the joint will of Taiwan's people to make a decision. After all, we are a democratic country. On what course to follow on relations with China have to follow the democratic process.
And shifting focus to West Asia now, Israel is withdrawing some forces from Gaza to shift to more targeted operations against the Hamas. Israel's military says the withdrawal was focused on reservists and designed to re-energize Israel's economy. Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said that the planning to send the reservist soldiers back to their jobs would help the economy as the country prepares for a prolonged war.
These days, we are also adjusting the plan for deployment of forces in Gaza and the engagement of reservists. Some of the reservist soldiers will return to their families and their jobs this week. This will allow a significant relief for the economy and will allow them to gather strength ahead of the coming activities in the new year. And since the fighting will continue, we will need them. These adjustments are meant to ensure planning and preparation for the rest of 2024. The IDF must plan ahead with the understanding that we will be required to undertake more missions and the fighting is likely to continue throughout this entire year.
Now, the OCED's unit combat dogs of the Israeli army are helping to scan locations for threats, map houses, locate weapons and explosives, and neutralize Hamas terrorists. A video of a dog named Patrick was released by the Israeli army. The OCED's dogs belong to the Army's K9 unit, and each dog is trained to specialize in one area, such as attack, detecting explosives, or search and rescue. Right, moving on, Ukraine and Russia accused each other of carrying out attacks on New Year's Day as aerial bombardments intensify. In the Russian-controlled city of Donetsk, officials said 4 people were killed and 14 others injured in Ukrainian shelling. Meanwhile, for its part, Ukraine said that at least 1 person was killed in a Russian air attack on the port city of Odessa, where homes were damaged by drones shot down by the country's air force. Officials say that Russia's air attack also targeted the Mykolaiv and Dnipro regions. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Ukraine had become stronger in overcoming serious difficulties as the war against Russia moves towards its second year on Monday.
Everyone has something to smile about because it worked out, and everyone has something to cry over because of losses. Each of us fought, worked, waited, helped, lived, and hoped this year in our own way. Everyone. But everyone will find something common to all Ukrainians this year. The major result of the year, its main achievement. Ukraine has become stronger. Ukrainians grew stronger.
For his part, Russia's President Vladimir Putin made only a passing reference in his New Year address to the war in Ukraine on Sunday, hailing his soldiers as heroes, but mostly emphasizing unity and shared determination.
Уважаемые граждане России.
On today, I would like to address our military personnel, everyone who is at the combat post, at the forefront of the fight for truth and justice. You are our heroes. Our hearts are with you. We are proud of you and admire your courage. I know that now you feel the love of your closest, dearest relatives, the powerful, sincere support of millions of Russian citizens, the support of the entire nation.
Тверды, отстаивая национальные.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi has been re-elected for a second term in the 20th December election. The declaration of the result follows days of complaints by the opposition about the way the election was conducted. Tshisekedi obtained more than 13 million out of more than 18 million valid votes. Cheers erupted from Tshisekedi supporters present at the declaration after it was announced that Tshisekedi was provisionally elected. Speaking to hundreds who gathered at his election headquarters after the announcement, Tshisekedi thanked his supporters and promised to speed up programs during his second term to tackle inequality. Denmark's Queen Margaret II announced her abdication in a live television announcement on New Year's Eve. Europe's longest-serving monarch will hand over power to her eldest son, Crown Prince Frederick, on 14th January. The 83-year-old Queen ascended the throne in 1972 and has served for 52 years. She became the longest-serving monarch in Europe following the death of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022. Last year, she became Denmark's longest-reigning monarch. The ascension to the throne of Crown Prince Frederick means that his wife, Crown Princess Mary, will become the Queen. The Australian hails from the state of Tasmania, where locals expressed their excitement about her new role. Take a listen.
Oh, I think it's wonderful and puts Tasmania on the world stage, and what a great ambassador for Australia.
I'm very proud. I'm very excited. I think it's wonderful. Yeah. I think she'll make a great queen, don't you?
Yes, definitely. Yes. Proud of her. Yeah, terrific, it's lovely.
Terrific news.
She deserves it. She's lovely.
She carries herself extremely well.
Among the 18 migrants Spain rescued by helicopter near the Canary Islands, 3 are dead. Spain's Coast Guard on Sunday took the 15 survivors to the La Restinga port in El Hierro. Another group of 99 migrants was rescued overnight and brought to El Hierro. Up to 14,000 migrants arrived there against a population of just 11,000. A record 40,000 migrants have reached the archipelago this year on fragile boats from West Africa. The archipelago's 7 islands have become the main destination for migrants from Senegal and other African countries trying to reach Spain, fleeing conflict or seeking a better life. Giant waves and choppy waters in the western U.S. state of California over the weekend prompted evacuation orders amid fears of flooding. In Manhattan Beach, the pier remained closed as waves as high as 20 feet slammed into the shoreline. Residents in coastal communities were warned to stay off beaches and coastal roadways. The National Weather Service in Los Angeles forecast significant flooding in low-lying coastal areas, with powerful waves and strong rip current posing a risk of drowning and damage to structures. Now take a look at some more stories making news around the world. Heavy rains lashed parts of East Australia on Monday, triggering flash floods, inundating roads and worsening the situation of some residents reeling after the intense thunderstorms that hit the region over the Christmas holidays. The Australian regions were pounded by a wild weather system overnight, and more heavy rain was forecast until Tuesday morning. A Bangladesh court on Monday sentenced Nobel laureate Dr. Muhammad Yunus and 3 top officials of Grameen Telecom to 6 months in jail in a case over violation of labor law. Responding to petitions submitted by the convicts, the court, however, granted them bail for 1 month. Yunus and his Grameen Bank won the Peace Prize in the year 2006. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un attended a late-night celebration to mark the New Year in Pyongyang, accompanied by his wife Ri Sol-ju and his daughter. The show featured ice skaters, acrobats and choirs, and fireworks lit up the sky at midnight. And still to come on DD India Live. 5 new countries, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Iran, become members of the BRICS from 1st January.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. The BRICS has expanded with the addition of 5 new member countries on 1st January. It ushers in a new era of economic cooperation and influence. The new members include Egypt and Ethiopia, along with the energy powerhouses of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Iran. Now, Argentina's new President Javier Milei has withdrawn his country from its planned entry into the BRICS Club of Nations. DD India's Jessica Taneja reports from New Delhi.
A coalition of 5 major economies, including Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, is steadily enhancing its influence, offering a formidable challenge to the established Western architectural norms.
BRICS will be breaking barriers, revitalizing economies, inspiring innovation, creating opportunities, and shaping the future.
It recently gained 5 new member countries: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Now, with Middle East oil behemoths on board, this larger coalition includes 3 of the world's top oil exporters, making up a significant 42% of the global oil supply. With 40% of the world's population, BRICS countries have outpaced G7 nations in their economic clout, as gauged by purchasing power parity. Contrary to popular belief, the entire bloc is not anti-Western. India's refusal to be drawn into a contest of competing global powers has been reiterated many times before, and BRICS is no exception.
For India, when we confront a largely Western-created architecture, obviously we would like to encourage and facilitate and induce and pressurize changes which are badly needed. But it is done to add a non-Western layer and a input. So I make this very important distinction where India is concerned. India is non-Western. India is not anti-Western.
Despite varying opinions and approaches among BRICS members on security and military issues, They find common ground in advocating for de-dollarization and are united in their focus on bolstering infrastructure to enhance the use of local currencies. And as we enter 2024, expect the world to become more multipolar and make room for middle powers to take center stage. Jessica Thaneja for DD India.
India's space agency ISRO successfully launched an X-ray polarimeter satellite called XPOSat from the launch pad at Sriharikota in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. Its launch marks India's first satellite launch of 2024, and it comes after the Chandrayaan-3 and Aditya L1 missions by ISRO. The XPOSat is India's first dedicated polarimetry mission to study the dynamics of bright astronomical X-ray sources in extreme conditions. It's the world's second such mission after the US space agency NASA's launch of an imaging X-ray polarimetry explorer in December 2021.
The orbit that has been accomplished, which is available through various routes, it shows excellent orbit, and the deviations from the targeted orbit is hardly just 3 kilometers in circular orbit of 650 kilometer, and inclination is 001 degree, which is one of the very excellent orbital condition. And yet another announcement is the solar panel of the satellite also has been deployed successfully.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his happiness over the successful launch of the XPOSat satellite by the Indian Space Research Organization. In a social media post, Prime Minister Modi said, I quote, "A great start to 2024 thanks to our scientists. This launch is wonderful news for the space sector and will enhance India's prowess in this field. Best wishes to our scientists at the Indian Space Research Organization and the entire space fraternity in taking India to unprecedented heights," unquote. Moving on, India's Prime Minister Modi on Monday praised Gujarat after the state set a Guinness World Record for the most people performing the Surya Namaskar simultaneously. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said, and I quote him here, "Gujarat welcomed 2024 with a remarkable feat, setting a Guinness World Record for the most people performing Surya Namaskar simultaneously at 108 venues. As we all know, the number 108 holds a special significance in our culture. The venues also include the iconic Modhera Sun Temple, where several people join. This is indeed a true testament to our commitment to yoga and our cultural heritage," unquote. And noting its immense benefits, PM Modi urged citizens to make Surya Namaskar a part of their daily routine. In neighbouring Pakistan, the acceptance of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Supremo Nawaz Sharif's nomination papers from Lahore's constituency NA 130 for the general election has been challenged on Monday. According to media reports, Nawaz Sharif's nomination papers have been challenged a week after the Election Commission of Pakistan gave its approval to the candidature of Pakistan's former PM. The constituency's returning officer, the electoral watchdog, and Nawaz Sharif have been made respondents in the case. Earlier, Pakistan's election body rejected former Prime Minister Imran Khan's nomination for the 2024 national election in 2 constituencies. It also rejected the nomination papers of Imran Khan and most of his supporters. India and Pakistan on Monday exchanged a list of nuclear installations and facilities covered under the agreement on the prohibition of attack against nuclear installations and facilities between the 2 South Asian neighbours. The agreement, which was signed on 31st December 1988 and entered into force on 27 January 1991, provides that India and Pakistan inform each other of the nuclear installations and facilities to be covered under the agreement on the 1st of January of every calendar year. This is the 33rd consecutive exchange of such lists between the 2 countries, the first one having been taking place on 1st January of 1992. The world welcomed 2024 with a mix of celebration and somber reflection. From New York to Auckland, London to Dubai, millions around the world join the celebrations. Take a look at the next report.
As the clock struck midnight around the globe, the world united in joyous celebration and heartfelt reflection, bidding farewell to the old and embracing the promise of a new year. From the stunning shores of Sydney, where silver and gold fireworks adorned the night sky, commemorating the 50th anniversary of the iconic Opera House. To the heart of Auckland, New Zealand, where the first fireworks of 2024 illuminated the cloudy night, accompanied by a mesmerizing laser light and animation show. Down to the vibrant beaches of Rio de Janeiro, where a dazzling 12-minute spectacular lit up Copacabana. 2 million revelers welcomed the new year with a first-of-its-kind light and color show, harmonized with a live orchestra. London's Big Ben echoed through the city, joined by a breathtaking fireworks display and a visual journey through the year's highlights. While on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, hundreds of thousands, including international tourists, celebrated the new year with grandeur, culminating in a traditional fireworks display over the majestic Arc of Triumph. The skyline of Dubai transformed into a canvas of light as the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest skyscraper, hosted a mesmerizing fireworks show, drawing thousands to witness the spectacle. Meanwhile, in Ras Al Khaimah, another dazzling display unfolded. Vietnam embraced the new year with captivating countdown programs in its capital city, featuring music and dance performances by renowned artists, captivating both locals and visitors.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thailand's icon Siam, with an $8.5 million extravaganza, solidified its place as a global countdown destination, offering a spectacular riverside celebration and vying for recognition among the world's top 5 countdown events. Across continents, as fireworks painted the skies and joy echoed in the hearts of millions, the world collectively embraced 2024, offering a hopeful start and a promise of brighter days ahead.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Here's wishing you a very happy new year. Hope 2024 turns out to be the best year yet for you. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.